On this episode of the Heat Check, alert. Wee, wee, wee. We got to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. I know it's only 4 games into the season, but they may be in trouble because, damn, they're looking like they might just be the most disappointing team. I'm going to break down what's going wrong, as well as maybe some good things happening in Cleveland, Paolo going nuclear, and some news from around the league, including a retirement from Kyle Kuzma. Anthony, my man, drop that motherfucking beat that should be Rihanna. By the way, we have to pump up to start the episode. Previous episode where I interviewed Professor David Barry on the finances of the W. Let's just say the reaction from the trolls has been aggressive. A lot of people like it. Some people not so much. It brought out a lot of idiots online who were just parroting the exact same thing that I told them not to parrot. And then they just came back with the same thing that I said you're just doing. Like, oh, no, the league just keeps making money. You're dumb, Trysta. No, you're actually the dumb one. Anyway, if you're at all interested in women's basketball or women's sports in general, give it a listen. The video is up on YouTube. What did I say? YouTube's coming back. It is coming. I really do believe that this is going to change the conversation of the way that people who are open-minded see the WNBA and see even women's basketball as a whole. On to today's podcast. Bucks, folks, I'm willing to say it now, just 4 games into the season. Have you ever just like seen a dish and you're like, I don't even need to taste that dish? No, I don't want that. Like, send it back. I had a cookie the other day and I put it on my teeth and was like, nope, that's not it. My tongue just touched it, paused for just like a quick second. And no, that right there, like, see the dish, don't want the dish. I already know, like, that chicken's gray. That's the Milwaukee Bucks. For me right now. I see the recipe. I don't need to see the recipe. I see the dish and I know I don't want any part of it. I know we're 4 games into the season. The signs do not look great. So you get the dub. They get the dub opening night against the Sixers, right? No Paul George, no Embiid. And since then, they've lost 3 in a row to the Chicago Bulls, the Brooklyn Nets, and then obviously they were always going to lose to the Celtics. The average margin of loss is nearly 12 points per game. These games weren't particularly close. And the game that they lost to the Celtics was only 9 points. So the other losses were actually more disgusting. The team is now, though, back to the dish that I don't want to eat. The team is now 19-23 under Chef Doc Rivers. They're 2-4 in the playoffs. I don't know if I want that chef cooking my meals. 21-27 record is 44% win percentage. Remember, the last head coach that they had, first-time head coach Adrian Griffin, got fired after he went 30-13, 70% winning percentage. Tough. Very tough. What's happening in Milwaukee is like, I'm telling you, a little like a kitchen fire that's about to burn down the whole fucking block unless smart people in charge say, hey, can't put water on a grease fire. It's the kitchen analogy today. Here's the problem. Coaching, a.k.a. cooking in the kitchen. Doc Rivers is literally not making any useful adjustments. Either because he doesn't have the horses to do it. Middleton is out. What's new? But like, the transition defense against the Celtics was beyond awful, beyond rubber chicken. Brooke Lopez was consistently out of position in transition. And when it happens as much as it did, that is a coaching issue. Giannis was jogging back on defense lackadaisically way too often. The Celtics massacred the Bucks on the fast break pretty much all game long. You wonder if it's fixable. Then you've got the roster issues. Why is Taurean Prince the leader in minutes played? Disgusting. For any team, that's how you know Darvin Ham is an assistant coach for this team, is because Taurean Prince is up in there just chucking, boy. Just in there. just like deciding he's going to get his cardio tonight. The starting five, we don't know which is the most effective, which is a very Darvin Ham thing as well. Like, remember that when he decided on the Lakers that he was just going to switch up the rotations and the starting five a million bajillion times, and everybody's like, we know what the starting five should be. I don't even know if we know what the starting five should be for the Bucks. We know that there's great players on the team, but Doc rarely has the offensive brilliance to put them in the spots to be successful. So again, maybe maybe the chicken on the plate is like free range, organic, but it's overcooked, boy, or it's undercooked. It's not seasoned well, or it's way too seasoned. I don't know what's going on. Doc's allowing way too much gambling on defense. They are getting smoked like Korean barbecue. Just terrible. The Bucks currently have the 26th ranked team in defensive rating. This was their thing. Under Budenholzer, the Bucks were consistently a top 10 defense. And if the only reason now that they're not a top 10 defense isn't coaching, then we have to start saying some real words about Damian Lillard. Because the one ingredient that's changed is Drew Holiday, all-world defender, to Damian Lillard, cone. 3 of the 4 teams below them are the Hawks, Jazz, and Wizards, who are all lottery teams. And number 3, the chemistry. Listen, have you ever just seen a plate where you're like, these cuisines don't even belong together? I think that might be Giannis and Dame. This might be the most damaging part of the Bucks right now. I'm hearing they are like oil and water. I am hearing there is no peas, no carrots. It is peas and mayo. I'm like, what are we doing? Not gelling. Dame, and if you look at the quotes, not just my inside, getting into the what's happening in the tea, Dame, his quote said this: me and Giannis got to be able to hold each other accountable. And I don't mean just yelling at each other all the time. Whoa. It just means like, I got to be able to say something to you and you got to be able to say something to me at all times. Feels like either 1, Giannis is doing some yelling, or 2, there's some little sneak dissing going on and people aren't opening up and saying how they feel. Giannis had other things to say. Right now, we don't have an identity. How are we going to win? Are we going to defend for 48 minutes? Ouch. Are we going to move the ball for 48 minutes? Ouch. Both of those potentially veiled shots at Dame. Are we going to attack? We've got to find an identity, and we don't have that right now. Oh, boy. It doesn't sound like these two are on the same page, does it? And to be honest, after watching a ton of Bucks basketball, it's pretty obvious from a basketball standpoint that they aren't gelling either. It's like, hey, we've got chicken on the plate, and also we've got steak. Do we need 2 proteins on the plate? No, we do not. Dame, ball dominant player. Giannis, ball dominant player. Both having trouble giving up the ball because, I don't know, they became superstars by having the ball in their hands. Not shocking. This season's going to get away from them very, very quickly. The Bucks are an absolute car wreck that I'm watching. As a Blazer fan, oh, man. Oh, we don't even need to go to that description about this. They are a car wreck, and I'm not talking about Andre Jackson Jr., who crashed his car into the Yankee Hill Apartments in downtown Milwaukee on Saturday. But guess what? That's kind of what it feels like right now. I'm very concerned, like pleasantly concerned. Do you know what I'm saying? Doc's about to get his ass fired. He's already passing the blame along. He's already saying mean shit about how, like, oh, well, we had to go with a shortened rotation. They're literally using like a playoff rotation right now. And why? Because, we just don't have guys that can produce off the bench. Don't say that, Doc. If they don't fix this shit really quick, Darvin Ham might be the new head coach of Milwaukee Bucks basketball. And that might be coming closer than you think. All right, moving on. On the other side, we got to talk about some positive things. We're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers, folks. Oh, yeah. We said it in the lead up to the new season. Not enough people are talking about this team. Not enough people are giving this team credit because what? Because Kenny Atkinson, he can cook his ass off, boy. He is one of them ones. He's Bobby Flay up in there. Quiz. That's what he's doing. Donovan Mitchell in there, Darius Garland in there, Evan Mobley taking a step, Jared Allen still there, Isaac Okoro doing his damn thing, and we don't even have Max Strus yet. Guess what? He doesn't care. He doesn't care what ingredients are there, because guess what? They're going to play hard basketball, tough, defensive-minded basketball, and try to get buckets. I saw him on Saturday at Capital One Arena to the Wizards. Of course, they beat the shit out of the Wizards. But I told George Niang, Bang Bang Niang, before the game, hey, I've been to Cleveland before. It's actually, not great, but my first instinct was actually not great, but not terrible either. And he said, listen, boy, if we beat the Knicks on Monday, that's what everybody's going to be saying. Actually not great, actually not terrible. The Cavs rolled through their first 3 games by an average points margin of 24. Those 3 wins, of course, were against bottom feeder teams like the Raptors, Pistons, and Wizards. But don't tell the Denver Nuggets those are a bottom feeder team, since they just went to overtime against the Raptors. 3 teams almost guaranteed to be in the lottery. So a lot of people were like, let's see what it is. Madison Square Garden against a Knicks team that's looking to get right, looking for revenge at the crib. Let's see. And guess what? They passed that shit with flying colors. So Cleveland, not great, but actually not terrible. Look out. The Cavs are picking up right where they left off. Maybe the Celtics shouldn't be looking at New York or Philadelphia. Maybe they should be having their eyes on Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Because look at it. The Cavs were down 5 at half, but put their boots to the necks of the Knicks for a 110-104 win on the road. And Garland is back. He is all the way back. Rumors of him being the odd man out, vastly overblown. Donovan Mitchell saying he can't play with me, we need to trade him, vastly overblown. He destroyed a Knicks defense that has OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. Those 3, by the way, were a combined minus 14 net rating, mostly because of Darius Garland. Garland was 34, 3-3. Wow. Long stretches, virtually unstoppable. He said, by the way, last year he lost the love of the game because he broke his jaw, but now that he's healthy, he's balling out. The schedule moving forward, quite favorable to the Cavs the first month of the season. A lot of home games. Pair of games against the Bucks, then the Pelicans without Trey Murphy, the Nets and the Warriors at home, and then the Bulls. Not a stretch to think that this team might start the year off 10-0, but also what I like about Kenny Atkinson is that he's creating an offense that is maximizing not only the bigs, Jared Allen and Mobley, but also the guards, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland. He also has a relationship with Jared Allen and with Karis LeVert when he coached them for the Brooklyn Nets. Remember that. That was before the staged coup when it was Kyrie and KD. They also have an underrated bench mob. Karis, Sam Merrill, Bang Bang, Okoro. Very good second unit. Dean Wade's starting now, too. He has this team on the verge of being very dangerous. Also, quick aside, we got to be concerned about the Knicks. That defense, I think, is going to have the struggle bus. You've got Donovan Mitchell going off for 25, and you've got Darius Garland going off for 34. Ooh, 59 points from the backcourt alone. Then you have Evan Mobley get 17. You have Jared Allen, I think, get 15. You can't have that, sir. You can't have that. Got to keep an eye on those Knicks and whether that defensive intensity that we got used to them having is actually going to persist now that Karl Anthony Towns is on the team. As I said, though, Cleveland, not great, but actually not terrible. Ooh, big news last night. I don't know if you saw the game. Paolo Banchero. He put up a 50-burger, boy, against the Pacers. And I know it's the Pacers, but holy shit, was it efficient. And it was just happening with ease. I saw Paolo. I've had this conversation before, but I saw Paolo in person when he was at Duke in the ACC tournament in Brooklyn, right before he was drafted. I said, man, I've never seen a human being that big before. Like, he's not a normal 7-footer where it's like, oh, that's Chet Holmgren. Like, I could wrap my hands around his whole wrist. Like, oh, he's like, or like, oh, that's Jonas Valanciunas. Like, he's a grizzly bear. No. This is like a normal human that's been put under an enlarging ray, like, honey, I enlarged the kids. He's massive. His proportions, though, paws, perfect. Calves, like, perfect. Arms, perfect. Legs, perfect. Neck. He doesn't have like an overly large neck or he's just a perfectly proportional 6'10" dude. 2 years ago, he went off for 27, 11 for 18 shooting in his NBA debut. That was the most made field goals for a number 1 overall pick since Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I knew he would be great. I knew actually when I saw him at Barclays, he's going to be good. Great passer, really willing passer, and an awesome leader as well. So now that he's arrived against the Pacers defense who could not stop him, he went 6 for 26, folks. 50 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. That's disgusting. 1 assist short of a 50-point triple-double. He also had 1 steal and 2 blocks. Wow. More importantly, when the Pacers decided, we're going to come back and make this a game because it was just a blowout at halftime, storm back, take a lead, and he decided, no, give me the ball, steady the ship, hit 1 last-second free throw to steal the game. Couldn't have been 2 because they would have covered the 5, but hey, I digress. He had 37 first-half points. 37. I watched that first half in awe because no other games were on at that point either. That was the first 7 o'clock game. Every other game started at 7:30. He hit 3s. He hit 1s and 2s. He went to the line 15 times. He had middies and 1s, floaters, behind the back passes, wrap around handles. He literally was doing everything. 6'10". 6'10". The thing about this is he became the 10th youngest player in the NBA history to score 50 points. Youngest forward since, to get 50 cents. LeBron James, 2006. It's insane. And now the LeBron James comparisons are getting people a little excited because the only person that looks anything close to Paolo, does anything like Paolo, LeBron James. He's not Carmelo, folks. I don't think you understand Carmelo's game, the ball stopper, and then exactly what a guy who plays a European-style passing type of a game. Paolo is bigger than Bron. 6'10", 250. I think he's bigger than that. I bet he's like 270. He's a big boy. I think Bron's bigger. I think he's faster than Paolo. I think he's more explosive than Paolo. But Paolo's a better jumper right now at this age than Bron did at 21. He's 21. Am I glazing right now? People are calling me glazing. I don't think that's what it is. Paolo seems to be different. And Orlando Magic fans, don't give me your pessimism about how he's going to go for 15 next game. How good is Paolo? How good Paolo is that I think he could be and maybe should be the best forward in 2 years in the NBA. And I don't think this is his last 50-point game either. That's for sure. Moving on, some quick news from around the league. Speaking of the Pacers. My God. Someone help us. If we're not going to get Halliburton like we got him in the beginning of last year, then I don't know what to say. It's just been rough. It's just been rough since he had his injury last season. It was rough in the Olympics. It was rough before then. It was rough in the second half of the season. And he's just starting to take a beating online. How bad has it been? He's averaging 14, 4, and 5 through his first 4 games. And by the way, he had 19 last game. So that increased the average quite a bit. 34% from the field and 27% from deep. Whew. Things have gotten so bad that an 86% free throw shooter, which is what Hallie is, he got sent to the line against the Pacers, against the Magic, down 2, and then short-armed the first one, then tried to miss the second one. Pacers lost, like I said. Last game against Orlando, had a spirited comeback, only to come up short once again in the 4th. You have the wrong game.
Yeah, that wasn't the Pacers.
What was that?
It was the Sixers.
The Magic, which is what Elliot.
Yeah, it was the Sixers.
So things have gotten so bad that Hallie got sent to the line against the Sixers. He was down 2, proceeded to short on the first one, then try to miss the second one, and then they lost, of course. And then against Orlando, he balled out, had a spirited comeback, came up short once again. He just is not shooting well at all. 6 for 15 from the field, 19, 9, and 10, which is fine. Like the first okay stat line of the year, of course, when I decided to take his under. But How bad are things for him? He is currently averaging 7 points less and 7 assists less than he did last season per game. Is this a trend? Is this a blip? Well, the worst 4-game stretch of 2023-2024, he was shooting 35% and 20% from 3, averaging 11, 2, and 8. So we've seen some stinkers from Tyrese Halliburton before. And to me, it's not the shooting that's the issue. He's always been a streaky shooter. That form is struggle bus. But to me, it's the fact that his assists are so low. The only stretch last season where he had comparably low assist levels were the games where he had a minutes restriction coming off of his injury. After the Sixers loss, he said, it doesn't feel good. Same thing after the Knicks game when he went scoreless. At the moment, it sucks, God willing. I'm sure the sun will come up tomorrow. We have another game tomorrow, 79 more. It sucks. And to act like I'm not going to replay it for the rest of the evening is probably not true. But like I said, 79 more games. The sun's going to come out tomorrow. And we're going to get another chance to compete tomorrow. That's the beautiful part about it. I think Callie's going to be fine. But like, we got to kind of monitor this. This is worth keeping an eye on. Because if Hallie's not right, then the Pacers are not right. Quick update on DeJounte Murray, who broke his hand, in the first game of with the Pelicans last week. According to Shams, Murray had successful surgery on his fractured left hand and is scheduled to miss 4 to 6 weeks. That's not bad, actually. He should be back around Christmas time. Also, then you take some time to reintegrate him back into the team, back into the offense. Then Trey Murphy out with the hammy injury. Pelicans injury woes keep on keeping on. Year after year after year. And did you see that they lost to my Portland Trailblazers? And finally, I have some crushing news for anyone interested in the NBA. Kyle Kuzma has retired. Not from basketball, which wouldn't be also that bad. And I swear this is true. I watched him on opening night at Capital One put up 6 air balls. I think he's trying to get traded. Like, I really do. Kuz says he's retiring from the fashion game. The man, noted for the sweater sleeves that dragged on the floor, who the New York Times said was as famous for his off-court fashion as he was for his on-court play, which does not say a lot, has officially retired from the pregame fit world. The thing that made him famous is now the thing he's not going to do anymore. What a Kyle Kuzma thing to do. Just when you guys get excited about something, I'm not going to give it to you anymore. Before their opening game against the Celtics, where he had all those air balls, Kuzma said this: I don't want to be a part of that community where you have to put on a fit. I'm going to take a back seat to all that. What brought him to that revelation? He says, I can speak from experience. When you're a younger player, you don't want to wear the same thing twice. A lot of times we get played into thinking, I got to switch it up. We got to buy something new. Now we're just buying clothes to impress people or to stand out. It's ludicrous. That man's not got any money anymore. He's like, I'm not paying $3,000 for a ridiculous shirt that no one would wear, except for that it's going to get me attention on league bets. And I can't wear it ever again because it's that outlandish. So I'm not doing it anymore. It's White Tea Kuzma Day. This is the man who strutted the catwalk at New York Fashion Week the past 3 years. And he said, no, I'm not avant-garde anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. I need to concentrate on my game. I think he really is just tired of spending money on dumb shit. And when you're not a max player, that's when you stop spending money on dumb shit. Kuzma, by the way, speaking of why he's not a max player, shooting 33% from the field right now, 28% from deep so far this season. Listen, I'm not one to give unsolicited advice, but he was balling when he had those league fits on. So maybe he should bring them back. That's all the time that we have for this episode of the Heat Check. Come back Friday for an all-new episode. Check out the feed for past episodes and mini episodes which drop unexpectedly, like the Dallas Cowboys. Yikes. Do not forget to follow the Heat Check through the season. That means download, subscribe. Please tell your friends. Even that barista that's like boonch, 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 boonch at 100 decibels. Tell him, hey, great breakfast burrito, but your EDM is making my ears bleed. Turn it down and turn on the Heat Check. We'll all be happier for it. And do not forget to follow me on Threads. That's Meta's new social media app. Tons of people on the NBA have been migrating from Twitter. I will be posting there a lot. It's the same handle as it is on Instagram, which is Trysta_Krick. Also, this heat check on TikTok, I think maybe now, YouTube, maybe now. Like, I think we kind of got it. Anyway, we will see you soon. YouTube.